Welcome back. Let's see the trade setup this morning. Overall looks quite good because the market has broken out. The SGX Nifty is indicating that's a decent startup, decent gap up actually for a market which has already shown a breakout. 26 point higher is what we have. And a couple of Asian markets, there's a bit of a divergence we are seeing in favor of emerging markets now. Nikkei is down, but the other markets are actually up. Nikkei is down about 1% and Hang Seng, okay, is also moved into the red. But this kind of screen you want to see if you're a bull, that emerging markets are beginning to show some kind of outperformance. Mayuresh Joshi now joins us from Angel Broking. Mayuresh, good morning. Let's start with banks. What did you make of IndusInd Bank's numbers and of course the big rally, and is the risk reward still favorable here?
Morning, Anuj. Yes, I think an impressive set of numbers by IndusInd Bank. More or less on expected lines in terms of how the loan growth and deposits were expected to pan out. But I think the management commentary was even more surprising. So I think the kind of outlook that the management has given specifically in terms of the PV and the CV sales and the loan growth improving thereof as well, it's extremely encouraging. I think credit cost on an annualized basis still kept below that manageable mark of 60 bips, which is envisaged for the better part of FY17. And again, I think expectations of loan growth staying stable and improving in the next few quarters. So I think that's an extremely stable set of numbers that have come through. The management commentary itself was very, very robust. The NIMs that they've posted at 4%, I think have been extremely commendable as well. So in an entire sense, again, I think extremely good set of numbers. Valuation always traded at a premium. So I think for the banking sector as a whole, I think the corporate facing banks might have some amount of stress still coming through with the watch list and the kind of provisioning that have made expected to continue in Q3, Q4. The forbearance in terms of the RBI circular for the SME part of the book probably is expected to play out in Q4. So I think Q4 numbers will be far more relevant in my opinion as that 60-day window probably gets over and what kind of stress we probably see there, if any, on any of the bank's books related to SMEs. So largely, again, I think maintaining an optimistic view on the banking sector, IndusInd extremely good set of numbers, so it's a clear hold from our side.
What are your buys in the banking space?
Morning, Lata. So from the large caps, again, I think over the next 12 to 18 months, banks like ICICI Bank is something that we continue to like. HDFC Bank from the larger retail private space, where I think the stress is not that relevant in terms of the corporate exposure. And even for ICICI, I think the kind of watch list that I was just mentioning about, I think a large part of that provisioning has taken place in Q1, Q2 and is still expected to take place in Q3, Q4. So as the large part of recognition starts taking place, I think the credit cost will start dwindling down from the first half of FY18. So in that sense, I think the larger banks like ICICI, HDFC is something that we like. From the smaller private sector banks, Federal Bank is something that we'll remain positive about. But again, in a staggered manner over the next few weeks, I think is the way to approach these banks. The kind of slippages that Federal Bank reported in Q2 of 266 crores was far lower than what one had anticipated. The overall stressed asset book, 1.6% net NPA ratio, you've got almost 2.6% in terms of the restructured book. So in that sense itself, I think you probably got 4.8% in terms of the overall stressed asset as part of their overall loans. So to that extent, it is still manageable in my opinion. SME exposure to 34% might be of a concern for the banking sector, as I mentioned. Federal Bank has that. But largely, again, my own analysis is pointing out to loan growth over the next 4 to 6 quarters of anywhere between 17 to 18%. And ROE improvement happening because of credit costs coming down on 120 bips to around 80 odd bips over the next 1.5 year. And that will probably lead to improvement in ROAs to around 0.9%. ROE is close to that double-digit mark of 9.5%, 10%, and valuations at 1.4 times price to adjusted book, probably in line with its long-term mean. But again, I think with expectations of ROEs and ROEs improving, my own sense is that in a staggered manner over the next few weeks, long-term investors can definitely have a look at this.
Okay, well, we also have Yogesh Mehta who joins in now, the Associate Vice President Equities at Motilal Oswal, to talk about the F&O space. Yogesh, hi, good morning. I wanted to, before asking you about the markets, I wanted to discuss with you the index, the Bank Nifty levels that you're watching out for. It's crossed this 18,800 mark with ease. Do you expect more upsides here, and how would you trade it?
Good morning. As we have seen yesterday, metals and banking led the rally overall with PSU and private sector. So bank Nifty can 19,000 was the earlier resistance level, somewhere 19,000 levels, but 19,200 and 300 is the level between this range to watch out for on a banking stock, because earlier also we have seen in past performance that this was the level, and from where it has retraced towards 17,600. So 19,200, 300 would be upper band, would be a resistance level, and on a lower side it will be somewhere around 18,600 or 650 level would be watch out for buying on correction.
Okay. Well, Yogesh, let's start with your trading strategies itself. I notice you have two banks and one cement company.
Yeah, Lata, good morning. We have the large cap sector. We have taken Ultratech Cement as a buy. Post the consolidation, now it is in the consolidation range. 3,350 is the current price. We are looking at 3,310 as a support level, as a stop loss on the trading bet, and with a target of 3,430. And on the banking side, the smaller banks and Federal Bank, which is closed at 72.5, which 72 was the previous resistance level, which it has closed yesterday above 72.5. Around that level, and 70 should be the stop loss for the trade, and target would be 77 rupees. And the third one would be Axis Bank. It has not participated much in this banking rally, but yesterday it has closed at above moving averages of 452. So 453 is the current price on the future front. One can look at buy this stock with the 445 as a stop loss, and target would be 470.
All right, Yogesh, Mayuresh and our tech gurus, please wait on. We have to take a short break. We are coming back with the pre-opening rates.
Hi, welcome back to the show. We have a minute before the pre-opening rates kick in, and the SGX Nifty suggesting that the start will be positive. Mayuresh Joshi is with us. Mayuresh, a quick comment from your end on what you expect from TCS today?
Morning, Sonia. So I think our own expectations is a point to sequential growth in dollar terms, $4,383 million to be precise. EBIT margins close to that 26% band, and largely profits again a 4.4% sequential decline to 6,320 odd crores. But it's again, I think the entire street is focused on what the management commentary is going to be all about in terms of the client pipeline, in terms of what's happening with the digital space. And 3Q is accentuated with the fact of traditional weakness with furloughs, with retail, with life sciences, with BP operations. I think all these segments, how they're doing, and obviously I think the outlook in terms of ifs and buts related to the Trump policies. So I think expecting a very soft set of numbers to probably come through, but management commentary holds key.
Okay. Well, that, soft commentary and performance from TCS, but I guess some of it at least is in the price. For the moment, let's concentrate on how the markets are going to open. The pre-opening price should be on your radar in just a moment. It's opening with a 0.2% uptick, 8392, reaching out to 84. Okay, now it's a 0.5% uptick. We have crossed 8,400. That's 30 points higher. The Sensex is moving more slowly, so maybe we will just have to wait by and not jump to any conclusions. The SGX Nifty should also come up for you. That indicated a strong move. So maybe these pre-opening bids should be just that, pre-opening bids. That's the rupee opening. That shows that the dollar is slightly on the weaker side. But anyway, those are now irrelevant to where the market is moving. It's still showing red on the screen, but let's wait and see.
Yeah, let's wait and see, because there are a couple of freak rates on NTPC and all that will
completely freak,
that will correct Lata. But suffice to say that the opening should be good, and again banks could be in focus, because Bank of Baroda is up 1%, ICICI is up about 1%. It will be interesting to see the IT stocks as well, because from the lows there's been a bit of a buying as well. So names like TCS and Infosys would also be in focus. So
I'm just waiting for the pharma companies to show. Yeah,
Sun Pharma are actually under pressure. Yeah, Sun Pharma, Aurobindo Pharma, Cipla, Lupin, all of them, Dr. Reddy's, all down about 0.5% or so. That's the opening on the rupee, by the way. 68.15 is where the rupee has opened this morning, compared to a previous close of 68.32. So slight bit of appreciation for the rupee this morning.
What if the market has broken out, and if we are now getting back to a groove? In that case, I won't be surprised if in the second half actually pharma stocks rally from the low point of the day, because then you get into a market which wants to feed on the bad news and buy at lower levels. So that, I think, for me would be the top indicator to watch in trade today, if in fact we start to see pharma stocks like Sun Pharma, Lupin actually at some point during the day trading in the green. That, I think, would be quite interesting.
Actually, Kiran's spin was not very negative. As she pointed out, if he is after drug prices, high drug prices, it's not necessary that Indian pharma companies should necessarily lose. They could also gain.
Okay. Well, a couple of more stocks that you perhaps want to watch out for in the markets. Auto stocks have been picking up pace. So you have Maruti, which is up almost about 1.5%. The Tata Motors DVR and Tata Motors are both in the green at this point in time. But let's do one thing. Let's focus on the sector of yesterday, which is the steel stocks. In what was positive news for them, China has decided to stop production of low quality steel using medium frequency induction furnaces. We have two guests who join in. Independent analyst Rakesh Arora joins in, and Hongmei Lee, the senior editor metal and steel news at S&P Global Platts, joins us on the show now to talk about that. Thank you to both of you for joining us.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Hongmei and Rakesh, thank you very much for joining us and helping us understand what's happening in the steel space. So yesterday's news perhaps was more a sentiment boost, and in India as well, we should expect margins to be somewhat impacted, especially if you're going to import coal. Integrated players, Tata Steel and JSPL, because of thermal coal, will perhaps be a bigger beneficiary.
All right,
but I wanted to get our experts on that. Ashwini, in the metal space, is there any pick, is there a trading strategy available today?
Well, yesterday they rallied because of positive impact of this news. If today they come off, I think on declines you have to continuously buy these stocks, because these sort of positive news flows will keep coming, and metal prices want to go up, metal stocks want to go up. So JSW Steel, Tata Steel, Hindalco, Vedanta, all of these guys on all declines are buys.
Okay, let's get back to some of the other stocks then that are buzzing. So Darshan, what are your thoughts on Yes Bank? It's been one of the best performers in this month so far, and it's less than now just about 8%, 7-8% away from its 52-week high. Do you expect that resumption anytime soon?
No, I don't. If you see the Yes Bank chart for 4 days, it has given a spectacular performance. It would require a lot more effort to move from here. So my sense is that this and other good quality bank stocks are likely to become choppy now. At current levels, for a day trader or swing trader, it's not a buy.
Okay, just about 2 minutes left for markets to open. Ashwini, it looks like we may have a positive start. The Bank Nifty yesterday in last hour gave up some gains. Looks like it reclaiming that. So 18,900 on the Bank Nifty, 8,400 on the Nifty. What would be the first trade, and also your 914 call?
See, today the market is likely to be sideways. So how do you get to the range? The first hour's range generally does not get violated on these sort of consolidation days. So I would think 8370 to about 8420 thereabouts should be that range. And also on the Bank Nifty, probably 18,750 to about 19,000. That is likely to be the range. ILFS Transport is the 914 call. That's a buy with a stop of 116, target of 128.
Okay, well, we just have about a minute left to go before the before the opening rates kick in. For now, it looks like it's going to be a flat start, but with a positive buy. Sudarshan, just a quick word from your end on how to approach the pharma names if there is a big cut in opening trade, which in all indications there will be.
I think we should continue, we should go and sell these names, which means go short, even at the open, even with the gap downs. The chances are there's a trend trade here for the next few days on the downside.
Okay, well, that's about still 30 seconds. If we do open over here, Mitesh, what would be your trade at 8390?
Nothing on the Nifty per se, but maybe if the Bank Nifty continues to show strength and some of the PSU banks show strength, so I think PSU banks or the Bank Nifty, I would still be a buyer if I'm trading with the 1 today perspective.
Okay, let's just wait for the market opening. It appears that only the drug stocks will take a beating, but it's not a huge gap up opening at this point in time, more flattish. There goes the bell, and it is opening as the pre-opening rates indicated, 8391, 8394 as we speak, and the Sensex just above the 27,100 mark, 38 points higher, 0.1% higher actually on both the indices. Very, very flat opening. The IT stocks are leading the way. Well, I wouldn't say IT stocks. Infosys is up 1.3%. Otherwise, it's just all over the place. It's all kinds of stocks which are up about 0.5%. There is no one big leader other than Infosys, which is 1.5%. Bharti Infratel, Adani Ports, Eicher Motors, ONGC. Not really the big movers of the Nifty, but all of them giving a small leg up. Ultratech Cement, ACC are also up, the cement stocks. As well, ICICI Bank up about 0.6, Hero Moto, Ambuja Cement. Cement stocks are generally up. The bank index is up about 0.28. The mid caps are actually now gone a little into the red, but quite clearly red is the color of the drug stocks. Dr. Reddy's, Oro, Sun Pharma, Lupin, Cipla are the top 5 losers. But actually IndusInd Bank and Bank of Baroda are also seeing some bit of profit taking, and it's not small. It's almost 1% that's going off, 0.7% that's going off these two stocks. Axis is also a little bit in the red. So now the Bank Nifty is up, but just as much as the Nifty, about 0.1%. Market still trying to find its feet. It's an extremely flat opening.
Oh yes, very flat opening for the mid caps as well. The good part is that the market breadth is positive, so there are more than 600 stocks on the advancing side at the moment. One of the stocks of the day definitely is Biocon, so it's up about 2.5% and picking up more pace now. It's well above that 1,000 rupee mark, and as we told you, the US FDA has accepted the application for that breast cancer drug, so that's an incremental positive for Biocon. South Indian Bank is seeing some incremental buying after yesterday's good numbers and the positive commentary from the management. So there's up 1%. Stocks like MRF and Nalco continue to hit 52-week highs, so fresh highs on those names. On the downside though, we do have a couple of these banking names. No, in fact, on the upside, I beg your pardon, banking names, look at some of these PSU banks that had a good rally yesterday. So names like UCO Bank, GNK Bank, etc. should be up for you. Bharat Financial Inclusion is the other one that's up almost about 1%. So it's resumed its uptrend there. In fact, it has a couple of other NBFCs for company as well. But all in all, you'd have to say, yes, just consolidating yesterday's gains, which is not a bad thing. Even for the frontliners, it is only the pharma names that are actually under pressure. A couple of maybe FMCG names like ITC, but apart from that, just consolidating gains.
Yeah, you know what, the top gainer right now is Infosys, up about 2%. And you know, that's what I said in the morning as well, Sonia, that you know, most of these stocks may have now priced in the worst. And for me, the real test would be in the pharma space now in the second half, because these stocks are starting with big cuts. So if you look at stocks like Aurobindo, Dr. Reddy's and Cadila, but not really the kind of cuts that you would have, I mean, that you know should have happened if the news was really that bad. So I won't be surprised to see intraday reversals. But let's take our experts' first thoughts on the market opening. Ashwini, the market has given a minor intra-morning dip, is that a buy, or would you wait for some more dip, maybe another 30-40 points?
See, you would wait because after this sort of a large move, it's often difficult to show follow through unless there is, huge tailwind, which there isn't. And, global markets also are kind of sideways. So, you'd be much better off, as we've seen earlier, that if you buy the dip, you tend to get some fuel to move higher. So I would wait up and probably look for 83.60, 83.70 on the futures to get long.
Okay, Sudarshan, your first thoughts, is the Nifty tradable today? You didn't want to trade it anyways.
Yeah, you are right. I would suggest take your profits wherever your entry was, you're making money for both Bank Nifty and Nifty, and focus on a lot of stocks which we have discussed.
Okay, well, just a couple of more stocks that are moving around. HOCL is one stock that's up almost about 17% right now. There is a Hindustan Organic Chemicals, that is. There's a board meeting on the 20th of Jan to consider selling land to BPCL and ISRO. It's a stock that we did cover in our top 10 list, so do keep an eye out on that. Bata has resumed its uptrend, so Bata is up almost 3.5 to 4%. So Darshan, this has been one of your favorite stocks in the recent past. At a little under 500 rupees, does it make sense to buy Bata?
It makes a lot of sense to buy Bata. The only difference is that you want now to keep it as a position for a few weeks, maybe just till the budget, just before the budget. But even at levels, at this current level, it's worth buying.
Mitesh, your thoughts on a couple of names. DHFL, that's seen a decent rally, and Biocon, that's up 3.5% right now. Your thoughts on the market also?
I think the IT index is clearly showing good strength on the intraday chart, so maybe IT will kind of compensate for some loss in the pharma stocks. But Biocon defies trend, has had a good opening. I would be a buyer here right now as well, keeping a stop just below levels of 1016, which is the day's low, and I think we are heading towards 1100 over here. So that's a good possibility. Overall, I think it's a subdued opening, but yeah, I think, if you are an index trader, I think, you would want to see any kind of dips coming in to buy afresh if you have not been buying. If you held a position, I think continue holding on. I think we are heading towards 8450 to about 8500. That zone, I think, would be a tough level to get past, but hold on for those levels to book profits.
Okay, hold on to book profits. Ashwini, you said that you would be a buyer on dips in the metal space. This morning, all of them have started with a little bit of red on the screen. Hindalco, Vedanta, Tata Steel, JSPL. Any buys emerging over there?
See, maybe you have to wait for some more dip because they had large rallies yesterday. I think stock of the day probably will be Biocon followed by Bata. So these are the two stocks you can keep in mind for the day.
Okay, some more non-index large caps that are picking up a bit of pace right now. Syntex is up almost about 2% and the volumes are also picking up in Syntex industry, so watch out for that. Some cement stocks are looking pretty good. So JK Lakshmi Cement is up almost 3% now, and it has Dalmia Bharat for company, so keep your radar on that as well. And Cyient is another one that's up almost 10% now on Cyient. I didn't notice that sudden move there, so Cyient should be up for you. Sudden 10%, 8-9% rally is what you're seeing there. Ashwini, from the list of non-index large caps, it's some of these cement stocks that once again have come back on the radar. Anything there that catches your eye? Shree Cement is also up about 2-3%.
See, cement got smashed up a lot because of demonetization, and now it's coming back strongly. So all these stocks, Prism Cement, even things like JK Lakshmi, etc., they will show very strong action. Shree Cement, I think at some point will get back to 17,500, 17,700. My entire sense is because of this remonetization, the entire losses because of demonetization are going to get gobbled up, and that is what will keep the market higher, because we need to catch up on all of those losses as currency gets into the market. So all those sectors which got impacted are likely to come back very strongly.
Is at 8,400 and the Bank Nifty now at 18,900, approaching there. Ashwini, you said Biocon and Bata could be stocks of the day. So these are stocks that you buy even now for the rest of the day, or wait for dips?
See, generally, on individual stocks, once something opens up 3.5-4%, obviously there is some strong buying that's taken place, and you tend to get follow through the day, particularly on choppy days like today. Individual stocks will tend to do much better than the index.
Okay, well, just for information, today is also Science board meeting where they will announce their numbers, and Motilal Oswal report says that they expect a 6% rise in their
last
Q3
quarter,
profit.
Science stood out as the company
Was-
of the
And that
earnings
stock
season in the IT
spiked up
space.
immediately post the
Yes.
numbers. Yeah. In fact, ever since the last quarter, the stock has seen a really big bump up. So, from the November lows of 450, the stock has now gone all the way up to about
And,
5.
it's also a Q on Q rise in net sales that they expect, considering that Rima was just telling us it's a quarter where there are more holidays. In spite of it, the performance of Cyient is expected to be fairly good. So maybe that's a bit of firing up of the Cyient stock ahead of the numbers. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us and taking us through the early morning rates. Market starting with a reasonably firm foot. A little bit of flatness in early morning trade, and then went on to take that 0.25% uptick with 8,400.
Yeah, we are trading above yesterday's high. We had a trend day yesterday, and we're trading above that. And the Bank Nifty also has the weekly options expiry. So really, it's a trending market right now. And
Bank Nifty is firmly higher,
it's
half a percent higher, and reaching out to 19,000. I mean, within touching distance.
Oh yes, and the stronger stocks like Yes Bank clearly are supporting this move. So
actually, if Ashwini is still with us and hasn't mic'd off, Ashwini, is there any fresh view on the banks? I mean, Punjab National Bank is among the PSU banks, one of the bigger performers. Is there anything in that space that you will play?
See, Yes Bank was a morning call, and I believe the sort of buying that we are seeing, it will not rest till probably it touches previous highs of about 1440, 1450, because now the banks are really finding their mojo above this 18,500 zone, and you'll see all PSU and private banks catch up with the rest of the market because they were underperformers earlier. So things like LIC Housing, Edelweiss, Capital First, Bajaj Finance, all kinds of financials have a massive catch up to do now that they are done with this note exchanging. Chances are they'll get back to business.
Okay, Ashwini, thanks a lot for that. Let's move on. The Bank Nifty 18,930, the Nifty above 8,400. Good time to invite Gautam Shah.